What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Unveil Paranormal. Welcome, and happy Friday. I hope everybody had a great and wonderful week. It was a long one for me, but we got through it, and we're here Friday. Yay! I am so happy for tonight's show. By the way, guys, if there's one aspect about the paranormal that I love to talk about more than anything, it's going to be about mediumship. This is where my heart and soul and most experience comes from when it comes to this field. I've investigated, I've done all sorts of things, but when it comes to mediumship, this is my forte. This is my go-to. So welcome everybody tonight. Greatly appreciate it. As I put in the description, we are going to go over Mediumship 101. So I'm going to explain a few like standard things about mediumship, maybe things you didn't know, things you do know, tell you a little bit about my story, and then also, I spaced it. What else? There was something else. There's something else we're going to talk about. But yes, welcome, Brad. Welcome. So glad you're here tonight. Brad, my go-to guy, helped me a little bit with preparation for tonight's show. He too is a sensitive and has great talent and has shared some of his things that he would love to hear about Mediumship 101 tonight. So definitely thank you, Brad, for helping me with that. All right, guys. So this show is also going, I remember now, I'm also going to allow questions. So if you have questions tonight while the show's going on, if you have questions in regards to myself, me, mediumship, yourself, your gifts, your mediumship skills, all that stuff, anything around mediumship, ask. Throw it in the comment section. We'll pull it up and I will answer those questions. But first, let's get started. So let's start. First, I'm going to explain to you guys a little bit about my experience. Why I'm somebody disclosure, nobody is a professional, in my opinion, about mediumship. Yes, you can have special trainings, all that stuff. I am a self-taught medium. If you didn't know, I consider myself self-taught because although I've had conversations with, say, like Brad, I've not been under mentorship. I've not read the books. I've not been part of the religions that accept mediums. I've not taken classes. I'm not certified. None of that. I am a self-taught medium. I had come into this on my own. I had started reading on my own. I had done this from the ground up, okay? Using me, myself, and I as my own personal guide along with the spirit world. So just so you know, for those of you watching, if you think that, hey, I'm going to watch this girl and see what she says about mediumship, just know I am a professional in what I do. I maintain professionalism, but I am self-taught. So, hey, Port. Hey, how's it going? By the way, Brad, just for you, I did bring in a guest tonight. This is Brad's friend that he doesn't like at my house anymore because she creeps him out. Her eyes change. So I brought her in here just to be in the background, just for you. So enjoy. Enjoy her creepiness sitting behind me. So, and I don't know, I didn't get a chance to show you guys this either, but I wanted to show you this on one of the last shows real quick. How cute is this gnome? It's a little witch gnome. God, let me think. The people that make these they're here in Indiana. I can't remember. Gnome to Rome. That's who made these. They make a ton of these. They make all sorts of different ones. This is my little witch one. I love it. It was only like $30. So, and they're really good quality. They name them typically, but mine wasn't named. So I get to name mine myself. But yeah, so super cute. All right, I'm done playing with my toys back there, guys. Yeah, you're welcome, Brad. You're welcome. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about myself, right? Because many of you watching the show have heard my story. You know where I started. You know how I got into this, all that stuff. I don't think my story's typical to other mediums. A lot of mediums I meet, they have a near-death experience. That seems to be a commonality. They start seeing spirits at a young age, talking to spirits at a young age, live in a haunted house. Some of these aspects I've had in my life, not all. Because to me, my mediumship actually came later in life. Although I do feel like I had the gift at a younger age, I was capable of doing this stuff at a younger age. I didn't start doing this publicly until in my 20s, my late 20s. So there's several reasons I feel like I did have the gift. So like one of my earliest paranormal experiences was like when I was 8, my grandfather died. He visited me in my dreams. He visited my sister in my dreams that night that he died. We also lived in a haunted house, so we'd have experiences there. We had TVs come on, radios come on, like a lot of electricity stuff randomly would be turned on. You know, the old knobs, you turn them on, turn them off, whatever, because this is the 90s. We're talking about the 90s if you're wondering how far back we're going. People talking, people feel like they're near me, behind me, whatever. And my house that I grew up, it was on Cherry Street. Actually, the year before we moved in 95. In 94, the guy that owned the building killed himself in the garage. There's actual proof of death at that house, at that property. So it was a 100-year-old house at the time. It's got a buttload of history. So we had a lot of experiences in that house, which probably then I probably could have started tuning in to mediumship and trying to read people, but I didn't care about that stuff. When I was growing up, I played with toys like a normal child, like Barbies and stuff like that. I was busy, I didn't watch a lot of TV unless it was like Nickelodeon. So I wasn't like consumed with this, because I see sometimes children being like, there's children who are interested in horror and there's children who are exposed to horror, like horror genre, all that stuff. So they're exposed to it. So it's more at the top of their mind. I was not exposed to that. I was a kid. I was a typical kid. So I was worried about other stuff. And then as I got older, then it was boys, working, getting a car, shit like that. So I didn't really focus on paranormal stuff. Now in my early teens, that's when I would go out and I'd go to graveyards and haunted locations, stuff like that, just for fun. But again, I was not connecting. I had paranormal experiences. I seen paranormal things. I met deceased people, but I didn't take it as it was personal. Like when I went to a graveyard local to here, that's one of my favorite graveyards. A little girl showed herself to me and only me. Today, if that would happen, I would take it and run with it. I would be like, oh my gosh, let's talk, whatever. 14-year-old me was like, holy fucking shit, I'm out, So completely different world for me growing up when it comes to mediumship. And then so we lived on Cherry Street until about the age of 13, and my parents lost the home. So we got foreclosed on, and a friend that my dad worked with is a landlord. And so he offered us to move in an old church that he was using for just storage. So yes, I have lived in a church. I lived in a church from the time I was 13 to the time I was an adult and moved out of the church. And then my parents actually ended up moving out of church about a year later. So yeah, at the church, we too had paranormal experiences. I too was confronted, and I then again just ignored it. Like I was ignoring it more than when I was a little bit younger. As I got older, I just was like, whatever, I don't care anymore. I did live in a house in my early 20s that had actually burned down, unfortunately, back in 2010 when I was living there. And that house would have shadows and all that stuff. And again, I was just ignoring it. So I have constantly had paranormal entities, all that stuff in my life, but I've not really taken it and done anything with it. I just see it, I ignore it, whatever, until my late 20s is when I got into this. And really the main reason I got into mediumship is in my late 20s, my family had a tragedy happen to it, and it made me very emotional and very depressed. And it was about a year later, in 2015, I guess I was kind of like seeking guidance. I didn't grow up in a religious family. We didn't have that background. I am thankful now that I did not grow up in a religious background, because I feel like I can be more accepting and open to other possibilities other than your standard organized religion. I do not like organized religion. So I apologize if you're watching this and you're all about organized religion. I am not a fan. I think churches have gotten away with a lot that they shouldn't have gotten away with, and it's really turned me off to the idea of organized religion. However, when I was in my early 20s, obviously the option was still not to be a part of church or anything like that, because, again, I still have these beliefs and I've always had these beliefs, but I don't know what happened. It's almost like it just changed overnight, where I just started wanting to get into this stuff because, again, it wasn't like a huge factor in my childhood. It was just there, and it was just, whatever, And so I started to research online. And of course they have all these groups, these mediumship, psychic groups, whatever. You jump in, say, hey, I need a reading, free reading from some whoever across the country, right? Whatever. So instead of jumping in and being like, hey, I need a reading to figure out like who I am or like what my next steps are in life, I go on there and I'm like, I can read people. I know I can. Like, I thought about it. I'm like thinking back to like people I've met and interactions I've had. I'm like, I can do this. So I started interacting online with people and offering online readings. First reading ever, only on Facebook Messenger, no photos, first name only, and that's it. That's it. Typing back and forth. No voice, nothing. It went awesome. And since then, I'm like, I think I know what I'm doing. So fast forward, guys, mediumship is really, really important. If this is something you think you need to be doing regularly, or you need to incorporate in your life somehow, yes, 100%. Because here's the thing. When I got into this, I actually started feeling like I have a purpose. I started feeling like I had new goals. I had started feeling better, enlightened, and had somewhere to go, something to do. Like, at first it's kind of like, oh, it's a hobby, but then it becomes a part of life. It becomes a part of your everyday life and your decision making. So I use mediumship for everything. Spiritual, the universe, all that stuff, for everything. I will be making the stupidest little decision, and I'd be like, you know what? It's just meant to be. Like, I could just feel it. Like, I know. And it's not like, I guess I even, it's just kind of, where am I comfortable? Who would I want to be around? Like, all that stuff just kind of flows better when you're paying attention. So definitely, if you have the gift, if you think you have the gift, you want to try to get in touch with it, whatever, yes, 100%. You need to be learning how to take your abilities and roll with it. It is going to change your life. I'm afraid to see what I can truly do with my abilities. I try to keep my limit. No, cross out those limits, Brad. I'm telling you right now, I too limit myself. There are many, many times I'm at pretty decently scary haunted locations, and I limit myself, and I hate myself later, because I know that some of these locations and stuff can be scary, or entities can be dangerous or whatever, but I feel like I'm so much stronger than that. And for me not to face those fears, it's the fear that's getting in the way. And don't let that happen. Like definitely don't put yourself in a situation you're not comfortable in, which is what I haven't been doing. But definitely challenge yourself. Definitely try to see what you're capable of. As long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody else, try it. It's fine. Majority of the time, spirit is not dangerous. In my opinion, majority of the time, I'm going to say that again, spirit is not dangerous. Okay. So after the reads that I did online, I then decided to start investigating paranormal locations. Did my first paranormal location in April of 2016. So it's been, let's see, it's 2023 for 7 years since I did my first play to play location. That's where you pay to go in and investigate. So my first one was 7 years ago. And it's probably right around this time too. And I never looked back. Ever since I've investigated, I love it so much. I will not. I don't know if I'll ever give it up because I love it so much. I love visiting these old places, getting to read these old places, getting to meet new people, investigate, play with all these tools. I love it. So, and here's the thing, guys. Here's what I recommend. Actually, here's kind of a recommendation. When you're wanting to work on yourself and your gifts, go to haunted locations. I support just getting into paranormal investigating in general, or you can consider doing go to old museums, or really, honestly, guys, you could just walk in a mall and practice mediumship. Okay. You can do this anywhere. But it's kind of cool to do it at haunted locations because A, it's a haunted location, and B, usually there's history that's recorded there. And if you have history that's recorded there, you can practice. Go in blind. Go in as blind as you can. Don't do research. Stay off the internet, whatever you can do. Go in blind and read it. Just let it all come in and read the building. Read the building, read the energy, do all that. Antique stores, absolutely. Go to an antique store. I love antique stores. Love them. Go in there and just read it. Now, will you look a little silly just standing there? Just it depends on how you are. Some people close their eyes and they read that way. I do not. I actually keep my eyes open and I'll stare. I stare off because I'm visualizing a lot of the stuff that's going on. When I close my eyes for some reason, I don't meditate very good. That's always something I've struggled with is meditating. But when I close my eyes, it's like my mind races more. And it's just weird. So for me, I keep my eyes open. Okay. I keep just walking there. If you're feeling, like a haunted location, you might feel more comfortable doing something like that. But, go to a bookstore. Go to a bookstore, sit down like you're reading a book. But don't read the book. Read the room. Read the room, read the energy, do all that, right? Those are things that you can do. You've got to practice. You got to practice. So I started reading online for people, and then I started paranormal investigating. That practice of doing that, it built my confidence. The more confirmation I got from doing readings to people and doing public investigations and getting confirmation from the equipment that paranormal investigators use, for one, I will be talking to a spirit and the spirit will talk back on the S-Box. That's confirmation, guys. I'm feeling this and I start to talk to that specific spirit and that spirit starts responding. That's confirmation. You guys want confirmation. You want it because if you don't have confirmation, you're not going to know. It's really hard to tell when you're getting started on whether or not you actually know what you're talking about. Now, some people are so confident, cocky, no matter what, even if you tell them that I have no idea what you're talking about, they're like, I do, it's whatever. So, got a good drink. So, yeah, it's going to build your confidence. Practice, 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 practice. All right. Another thing that you can do to practice, I don't recommend this, but you can offer free readings at a public convention. So my first ever Paracon, I was stupid. I say it's stupid nicely. Like, it's a good way to get your name out there, but it's exhausting. If you're one of those people who can read people over after another, go for it. But I did my first Paracon for free. I did not charge. I was there with the team that I was. They posted, hey, free readings. And the line was out the door. Okay. It was out the door. Teresa, I'm gonna finish my sentence and then I'm gonna share what you wrote here, Teresa, to share. But doing free readings at a public convention like that, it was exhausting. I was not prepared for it. So after that, I did do Paracons for a couple years and I did charge like $25. That's not that much for somebody to provide you a service. $25, it's whatever. I did that and I actually built a lot of good relationships with paranormal teams. I had repetitive clients. I went to Hannah House 3 years in a row in red, and every year I had a couple people show up just for me. It was amazing, and I appreciate those people so much. It was awesome. So that's another way that you guys can practice what you're doing, is you can offer those services. I don't recommend charging unless you're really confident in what you do, because people are going to get pissed if you have no idea what you're doing and you're charging. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to read what you said here, Teresa. I'm a psychic medium for over 30 years. As a 10-year-old, I didn't understand why I was seeing, sensing, getting images, and getting messages. I thought everyone was getting the same thing as I. I hear you there. But it wasn't until I was in my early 20s I realized I had a gift after reading and watching some of the videos like this. Awesome, awesome. Well, I totally relate to that, Teresa. Like I said, I ignored it. Wasn't part of my life. It wasn't any of that. So, it's just something had changed in me. And I really think it's because I was in such a dark place at the time that I really needed to feel a purpose and I need to find myself. And that's the direction I went. And I am every day blessed that I did. There's days where I'm a little off about it because I get judged or whatever. But in the long run, even with the shitty comments or whatever, some mediums get, it's like, I made the right choice. It's scary to be public about mediumships, psychic abilities, all that stuff, because there is so much judgment out there. But guys, if you got it, like, it's okay to share. Not everybody's going to be thrilled about it. They'll get over it. What you should do is, if somebody's skeptical about it, say, let me read for you. Oh, from the UK? Awesome. Well, welcome from the UK. Brad, you said, yep. Actually, Brad, you just had that conversation about him shutting his gifts off. That was something we talked about. Personally, at this point in my life, Brad, I don't think I'll ever shut it off. Maybe in my early I know, like, your personal experience was kind of scary, so you shut it off. I don't know if I could have a scary enough experience for me to shut off, because it's brought so much light into my life and it's helped me so much in guiding me on which direction to go and how to make sure I keep moving in the life that I'm living now. I don't think I'd feel like almost like karma, like the universe would get back at me if I ignore my gift. It feels like it's meant to be. This feels like I'm supposed to help people. And I have a day job like everybody else, right? And my day job is to help people. And although I hate sitting in a office all day, I'd rather be doing this regularly. I'd rather be out in the field, the paranormal field, helping people, doing all that. But I still get to help people in my day job. And that's kind of why you keep going back to it, because it's that love of helping others and giving people answers and all that it keeps you coming back for more. I probably could never give it up. Yeah, absolutely accepting your gift. Sorry, my dog is scratching at the door. So you never close down your chakras, etc. As I feel so connected spirit. Yeah. Teresa, again, I don't think I do either. Because anytime I've shut anything off, because I do get in like depressive states and stuff like that sometimes. And maybe it's spiritual related. Maybe it's just natural human depression or whatever, because I am human. We're still going to have human things happen to us. People who are sensitive and all that stuff, who are trying to get right with the universe and all that. We still are human, right? So, I got to keep that open. I protect myself when need be, but I got to keep those open. So I definitely agree. You want to see my dog? I don't think he'll come over here. I mean, I can go grab him. Come here. We want to see you. Come here. Josie, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, come here, potato. Okay. This is my old man. This is the one scratching at the door. He is 10 years old. Let me move your comment so you can see him. He's an old guy. That's why he's so gray. So, he's my baby. He is a giant fat dog. See how tubby he is? See, Tubby? All right. He hates being picked up. So, you go lay down. All right. Go lay down. All right. I'm going to go let him in. I let me in the room. Yeah, he's adorable, but I got him fixed kind of late in life because he used to be a little skinny thing. And I got a second dog, which if you have one dog that's not fixed and you get a second dog, that one dog acts crazy. So I got my dog fixed. And he is so fat now, the poor guy. Probably should have got him fixed when he was younger, but that's all right. So if you hear the clickety-clackety, that's him walking around because he's got some nails. He's got to get clipped soon. So, all right, guys. So one thing I want to talk about, because that's kind of a little bit about my journey, is I want to remind everybody that everybody's journey is going to be different. So I want to emphasize to you guys, know that your journey is going to be different. Know that how you get to where you're going is going to be different. This is just some advice I have in regards to how to get to where, this is just kind of advice that I've experienced. This is what works for me, so you can take it how you want. All right. We did some research last night on mediumship because I did want to share a little bit about mediumship 101, some terminology and stuff like that we discussed. So one thing that I learned was there's two types of mediums. I mean, there's lots of types of mediums, but hear me out first. Okay. Now he go and bark. All right, let me shut this door. Let's try this again. What are you doing? Go night-night. Go night-night. Hey. Daddy's in my bedroom barking. Can you please be careful? Thank you. All right. He is such a baby. This is what's bad about live shows is you got to kind of if you have a family, you got to juggle all that. So out of body experience, we'll actually talk about that here shortly. Well, let me finish my thought here. So there's two types of mediums, right? And then we'll jump to that because I'm actually going to go into further detail of mediumship. So one is a physical medium, and two is a mental medium. Okay. Me and my buddy Brad had discussed this, and we think that because we can read each other really well, and we do really good on investigations, we're going to say conjuring, I guess manifesting things. Hey, Jeremy. Welcome. You get spirit fingers. We can't confirm, but I think he's more of a physical medium and I'm more of a mental medium. So physical medium's kind of somebody who can kind of manipulate their surroundings. They can make spirit boxes go off, or not spirit boxes, REM pods go off. They can manifest like, what did we talk about? Like table tipping we talked about. Yes, we do connect well. Spirit fingers are better than spirit arrows. Yes, it is. So they can kind of manipulate their physical being, right? And a lot of the times what they're reading is physical. Like they can see it, it's out there. Like it seems more physical. Mental mediums kind of, this is where everything is. Okay. It's in the head, right? And that's how I am. I feel like I project things out as opposed to manifest them in the physical world. It's more of a projection. So I don't know if that makes sense to everybody, but those are the two types. We did use, disclosure, we only had a short period of time to research this extra stuff. So we did use Wikipedia. So, take it with a grain of salt. All right. Okay. The other thing about mediumship, just kind of for your information, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 types of other types of mediums, or there's 7 types of ways mediums connect, right? And I don't think any medium is only one of these. I think mediums can be a multitude of these. And I'll kind of tell you which ones I think I am better at than not, and all that. So clairvoyant, most of you have heard clairvoyant, that is seeing spirit, right? Most of us have heard about that. There's a lot of clairvoyant people out there. Yes, I've seen spirit, but again, I'm more projecting it because I feel them, I know they're there. And it's a little different, but there's clairvoyant. That's seeing spirit. Clairaudient is hearing spirit. Yes, I've heard disembodied voices. But at the same time, when you go to a haunted location, anybody can hear a disembodied voice just about, right? So know the difference between whether it's because you're medium and you're connecting on that level, because the frequencies are different than if you're in the physical world and you hear something. Okay, there's a big difference. Hey, Jennifer, welcome. I love that girl's energy. I don't know. I just love, there's some people you meet, guys. This is another thing you realize when you start being a medium, is there some people you meet and they're like on the same frequency as you. And I'm like, I get that person. I get them. So, there's trouble. I know he's talking to you, Jennifer. All right. Clairsentience. Okay. Clairsentience is another pretty common term you hear when you're talking about a type of medium. Those are people who can clearly sense spirits. So it's the idea of sensing. So to me, that can mean a lot of things because we have 5 senses, right? So we hear, taste, smell. So to me, it's kind of broad to call it clairsentience, but at the same time, like, I get what they're trying to explain. Like, there's a spirit in the other room and I can sense it. I don't hear it. I don't see it. I don't taste it, smell it, whatever. But I'm sensing there's something there, right? Like, it's not knowing, because that is also another type of medium, but I'll talk about that in a second. You're sensing it. It's really hard to explain. Do I think I've sensed spirits? Yeah, probably. Jeremy's over here causing trouble. Okay, so this one is Claire. I can hardly say this. Clairsentience. So not clairsentience. Clairsentience. It's really hard to say. That is a clear feeling of spirit world. So you can feel energy, you can feel emotions, you can feel the spirit, right? And a lot of these people are kind of empathic people. So again, yes, I consider myself an empath. So I've been there. I've experienced this. And it's really a crazy thing to think that you could just be going about your business and suddenly feel sick, suddenly feel in danger, suddenly feel mad, sad, whatever. These are people who are really sensitive. They're usually called empaths. I prefer to call these empaths, but they are people who can feel those feelings when it comes to the spirit world. Clear. Okay, here's another one. Claire. I'm gonna botch this. Claire Aliens. ALIENCE. Aliens. Claire Aliens. This is clear smelling. This is those people who have a sense to connect with the deceased based on smells. Now, I will say this, you can have phantom smells as a paranormal investigator, as a regular person, whatever. You could be sitting in a haunted location and you get that raunchy smell. You get that perfume smell. We've all done this. Again, could be a difference because a medium may be able to smell somebody based off of like a memory. So they'll be reading for you and they'll be like, man, I smell cigars. You may not smell cigars, but they start smelling cigars. The reason they're smelling cigars is, oh, that's my grandfather. He used to smoke cigars all the time. Always smelled like it. So that's kind of the difference. It's not like when you're sitting out there and get that phantom smell. My mom, the only way she's really visited me since she's passed, she used to come into my dreams, but she was very confused about death. I think she was lost for a while. But now I know she's around by smell. I smell a specific smell that I know is her. So that's kind of an example. So we got two more. Claire Gustins. I have no idea how this one works. So if somebody can explain it to me, let me know. I mean, I can guess how it works, but Claire Gustins is tasting. So how do you explain how somebody tastes the spirit world? Like, I guess maybe it'd be the same thing. Like you're reading for somebody and they loved like fried chicken, right? They loved fried chicken. And you just start tasting fried chicken. I don't know. Is that okay? This is one on this list I do not think I have experienced is taste. But I guess that's how it would work, right? It's annoying of the taste, but it comes in as taste. What? Where it works like smell. Yeah, I mean, your smell and your taste actually go hand in hand. So I'm kind of like, it's got to be something like that, right? Like I've never experienced it. So I don't know how comfortable I'd feel if I suddenly felt a weird taste in my mouth, but it's possible. It's a thing. There's some people who have, it's not your favorite. I mean, because all I'm thinking is like all the bad, nasty taste that spirit could cause to be in my mouth, and I'm like, this is gross. Yeah. So tasting is another one. All right. So in the last one that I had on this list of like how ways to connect with as a medium is people who are claircognants. People who are claircognants is actually something that I really think I am. A person who's claircognant is just somebody who just knows. There's somebody who just knows. We just know. We have answers to things. We get feelings. Like, well, I mean, that's a feeling. See, it's really hard to separate it out when you're sitting here thinking about it, but you just know it. You know somebody's name. You know something about a car in their life. You know something, how they're related to somebody. You just know this. It's not coming to you in any way, shape, or form or sense except for in the mind. You just know it. It just automatically comes to you. And that is something that happens to me probably the majority of the time. My other senses are not as connected, I don't think, other than my mind. That's why I also think I'm a mental medium as opposed to a physical medium. Because I feel like the majority of everything that goes on when I do readings is right here. Like in this little bubble, you know? And occasionally, like, I'll feel sick. Occasionally, I'll smell. Occasionally, like, I'll feel a certain way. Like, it's occasionally, but most of it's up here for me personally. So those are 2 types of mediums and like 7 different ways you can connect with the deceased, right? This is just things I found and researched. Garlic. Oh, I had the craving for garlic the other day, guys. That's what it makes me think of. And I had some breadsticks. It was awesome. Oh, you know it's your father? Yeah. Yeah, Brad. Yep, we did talk about that. Definitely. Let's see. I've never tasted anything on an investigation, though I wouldn't recommend. But I have smelled some stuff. I'm sure. Some of it unexplained, other because of. Guys, I have a serious question about what Jeremy's talking. Why is going on a ghost hunt? Why is the go-to dinner always Mexican food? I mean, I love it. I swear every time I go on a ghost hunt, everybody's like, "What do you want to eat?" Mexican food. Everybody's eating beans. We do it every time, don't we? Every time. Nothing sounds better than going to a Mexican restaurant before a ghost hunt. I've tried it. I've tried to we went to Applebee's, me, Jeremy, and Brad. Applebee's. Not the same experience as going to a Mexican restaurant. You got to have that chips and salsa. You do. Yeah. Yeah, you try to steer from it, but I do. I love Mexican food before a ghost hunt. I get another drink, guys. Just a second. All right. Okay. So another thing that I had discussed with you guys a little bit on mediumship is I want to talk about the tools you have when it comes to mediumship. And if anybody that's watching the show has other ideas, I only have a very short list of tools you can use when you're when you're working on your mediumship and all that. So let me know what they are. First and foremost, your first and most important tool when you're trying to be a medium is yourself. Okay. And as a tool, yourself, guys, you got to make sure you're in the right state of mind before you do any of these readings, before you're connecting with the deceased, before you're connecting with the universe, all that stuff, asking for guidance, all that stuff. You have to open yourself up. You have to be accepting. And you have to make sure you're taking care of yourself. You should be your primary tool as a medium. You should be the primary tool. And I'm saying that because I'm serious. You should be the primary tool, okay? And here's why. Because the next tool is tarot cards. Tarot cards have a benefit to them. I have done tarot readings on the show, but I do not claim to be a tarot reader. However, my tarot readings have gone really well. I've never studied the book. Okay, let's start there. I've never studied the books. I don't know what those cards mean. You guys know why those readings are going so well with those tarot cards? Because I'm not really using them. Some people can use them and they're phenomenal at it, because I think what the idea is the energy that they're putting in to finding the right cards for you is what they're doing. I don't function that way. I can't, I will gravitate towards what I think is the right card, but once I get that card out, my mind doesn't go to the cards. My mind goes just straight to you, because I think that's how I've always read. I've always read with just myself. So it's really hard for me to look at a card and be like, yeah, this is your card, and this is why that. However, some people are phenomenal tarot card readers. They know their cards up and down, all around, and they're really good at what they do. But me personally, I read directly from myself to you, even if I have a tarot card in my hand. I could get that card completely wrong, guys. And I don't know. I don't have the energy. I guess I'm not invested in it enough to study what these cards mean, but they all do have meanings and they're really important. That's how you do it. A card that just helps that connection. I'm not a tarot reader. Yeah. I mean, I can't personally. They're so hard to learn. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Numerology. Numerology is not on my list. However, I do like the idea of numerology. Cup cards. I like the idea of numerology. I don't do numerology for anybody else but myself. I have certain numbers in my life that are constantly coming up. I have the number 45 is a huge number in my life. I've had extension number 45. I've been in cubicle 45 like 3 times. I've lived at apartment 45. 45 has popped up so many stinking times. I'm hoping it's not like when I'm going to die or something. Just saying, because that's not that long. That's not that far away. But it's a number that just like it pops up consistently. My birthday also pops up consistently. Brad, you said 18. 18 is your birthday. It's going to pop up, right? Yeah, memorizing them messes me up too. 100%. 100%. I get that. So numerology is definitely a great tool you can use. I don't know enough about it to really have a judgment on it. I just know for me personally, I use it for me. That's it. I don't use it in readings or anything. If a number comes up, which is kind of a different thing, I will share that number. And sometimes sometimes it has a meaning. Like it'll be like a date somebody died, a date, an age they were when they died. Usually that's what it is, or a birthday. That's usually what it ends up being. Another thing that was mentioned to me last night is tea leaves. And I have never used tea leaves in a reading. Brad, I wish you were on here to explain about tea leaves because I did not research it last night. So tea leaves is another tool. If you don't know how tea leaves work, honestly, maybe Brad will shoot a comment out there how it works, or you can Google it. I mean, you can Google tea leaves and the idea about it, but that's another tool. One last tool that I wrote down, and Jennifer, you read my mind, is a pendulum. That's the last tool I actually wrote down. So I like the pendulum. I really, really like the pendulum. It can help with a simple yes, no. Now, here's kind of my thoughts on pendulums. So the theory can be that the pendulum, when you're holding the pendulum, the energy is going through you and down, right? Well, I've heard 2 things are happening. 1, the spirit is coming outside and making that pendulum move, right? The other theory is you yourself are reading the outside world. The energy is actually going into you and conducting through to make that pendulum move. What do I think works? I think, depending on who you are, if you are in tune with the world, you're in tune and you're a medium or whatever. When I'm messing with the pendulum, the energy is actually coming to me and I'm conducting it in. If you're not in tune, and this is why I kind of think a pendulum is great for everybody. 1, pendulums are cheap. They're not that expensive. 2, anybody can use them, okay? Anybody, because the first theory I talked about is that the spirit comes in and moves that pendulum around. Anybody can do that. And that's why I think a pendulum is one of the best tools out there for everybody, okay? It's fun, it's easy. I love pendulum stands. I love when you just set your pendulum on a stand and it moves freely, because then there's no energy. There's no you making it move, right? There's no discussion of that. Now, when there's that, when you have a stand, I still think it works the same way. When you have a stand and you're sitting there asking the questions, I still think that even with that stand sitting there, spirit can come in and move it. Or I don't have to be touching it if I'm strong enough medium. So I'm strong enough medium, I can make that move. I can make those move with the answers I'm getting from not even touching it. I strongly believe that. Some people are going to think that's kind of crazy. Like, oh, no, there's no way. But no, it's possible. So, hey, Debbie, welcome. You got some pretty amazing pendulum stuff. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, yes, I will talk about out-of-body experiences right now, Teresa, since it's getting late for you. Okay. So, out-of-body experiences are so crazy. So let me see what your question was real quick, because you had a question on it. I think you were just asking what my opinion was. Where are you at here? What's your thoughts of out-of-body experiences during meditation? Okay. I'm going to tell you this, Teresa, and this is going to make it kind of hard to answer. I am terrible at meditating. The reason is because, again, I am somebody who has to stare. I can't close my eyes. I close my eyes, my mind starts racing. It's really weird. So I'm really bad at meditating. However, I still have had out-of-body experiences. And I definitely think out-of-body experiences are real. Now, there's conscious ones, and then there's, I guess we could call them unconscious ones. It's when you're asleep, you're awake. Some people go into such a state of meditation, it's like they're not conscious. I've not experienced that personally, but out-of-body experiences are they're very powerful experiences. I would not take an out-of-body experience lightly. The reason is because there's a force of energy that has to go in from you standing here to your spirit or your energy standing here, right? Because you're having that out-of-body experience. It's like your body's not there, right? So it takes a large force of energy, right? So if you're having an out-of-body experience, say in the moment out-of-body experience, meaning you're watching something go on and it feels surreal. Like, that's a simple way to put it. That's an out-of-body experience. Or you're watching something go on and it's like you're that person. You've taken on that experience, right? We're talking about remote viewing or what's it called? Projection. Astral projection. That's what it's called. You're talking about something a little different. There's actually a lot of ways that you can have an out-of-body experience, in my opinion. You're afraid it will go wrong. So are you wanting to, Teresa, when you're saying you want to have one, are you wanting to astral project? Are you wanting to, because I feel like out-of-body experiences typically happen at random. A out-of-body experience, like a straightforward one, happens at random. That's what I think. But if you're wanting to astral project when you're meditating, like you're wanting to, some people say, get your rope, like have a spiritual rope so you can, fly off to somewhere else and have an experience or watch something go on or happen or check in on somebody, whatever. Is that what you're talking about? That, my thing went blurry. Astral project. Yes, okay. If you're afraid to do it, don't do it yet. But I am going to recommend, if you, like I said, at the very, very, very beginning of this show, God, I wish that would clear up. At the very beginning of the show, if you think that you have the ability to do something, you should look into it. You should practice. What I would recommend doing for astral projection, because I've tried it many times, is starting slow. If it's too scary to do while you're awake, while you're just meditating, and you think you might be capable of doing it while you sleep, I've had friends have me write something down, put it, like one of my friends wanted me to go visit a location I've never been to. He's like, hey, write this location down. I wrote it down, put it on my pillow and see if I could do it, right? Like, So it's kind of a practice. Let's see. And you do it night after night to see if you actually make it there. You've been very close when you pulled on meditation as I got afraid. Right. That's why I'm saying, like, maybe when you're asleep, if some people sleep and they have no control over their dreams. I'm not one of those people. I have a lot of control over my dreams because I am a very lucid dreamer, very vivid, movie-like. Like, my dream world is a whole, like, world. I have visited towns multiple times. I have been to places multiple times, and I know those places. It's like a whole dimension, like heading east. Oh, no, thanks for that. Heading east of here, there's a town. Let's say Portland area. There's a town in my dream world that is there every time. So if you have control of dreams, that would be a good time to try it if you get scared at meditating. Do a little bit at a time. Release, you can use the rope method, because I've heard of the rope method where you're meditating that you have like a rope around you in your body, and it's to help protect you, to keep you close to the body, right? Do a little bit at a time. Try to go from your living room to your kitchen. Try to go, you don't have to travel across the world. You can just try to astral project yourself to places where you're comfortable. Start there. Because do I think anything bad's going to happen to you if you're successful? No, I don't. I don't personally. Astral projection and remote viewing aren't the same thing, but they kind of are the same thing. One is physically going there. Two is physically seeing that area, so it's different, but it's the same. So take baby steps is going to be my biggest thing. Like, manifest that spiritual rope that's going to keep you linked to your body, and slowly move from room to room. Once you get comfortable going room to room, go outside. Get to where you're going outside. Even if you got to start with going across the room. Little baby steps. I know you get a guide and you're like, oh, I'm going to travel you're in the UK, so Canada or something. You don't want to come to America. I'm just kidding. Well, kind of. But, Canada or something. And in order to do that, you need to take those baby steps. And you can't be... The fear is the hardest thing to get over in a lot of this. It's the fear. Because the thing is, we grow up in a very physical world that it makes it hard for us to make sense of the spiritual world, because everything's so tangible here, right? We can't touch the spirit world like we can here. It's a different type of touch, right? So the fear, you just gotta, again, practice baby steps. Those are going to be the best two things for you. So I hope that helped. I hope I gave you some advice on that. I am running out of time, guys. I'm only supposed to be on here for an hour, and I have like only a few things to talk about, actually. So I want to talk about crystals again. I want to talk about the risk of being a medium, and I want to talk about inaccuracies and why some mediums have inaccuracy issues, and how it doesn't necessarily make it invalid to them. So you read so many things about it and going wrong or not being able to return to normal. See, this is why self-taught mediumship is better, because you're reading all these horror stories. Yes, you have helped me so much. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. So we're going to go over crystals real quick, because I think this is important too, guys. Crystals, objects, any of that, right? So I'm going to grab a crystal, actually. Let's see. So here is one of my rocks. Here's the red one. Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess I did have crystals right here. So crystals, right? Okay. So I had this debate with somebody on one of my shows. Like, it wasn't a debate. It was kind of like a let's discuss. It was a let's discuss show. I don't remember what the show was about either. But let's talk about crystals. So actually, crystals could probably fall under a tool because the pendulum usually has a crystal on it. So crystals are meant typically to manipulate the energy around you, right? They're to protect you. They're to make you feel better. They're for healing purposes. They're for all that. Can you just, I don't know what's up with this camera tonight. Focus on me. My face is right here. Hello. I don't get it. It's really annoying though. So that's the purpose of crystals. Now, we're going to go back to my plushy example or my squishy example. So I was talking about this a couple weeks. Hey, there I am. Talking about this a couple weeks about how this, I don't get how this and this can produce different energies. How this is more powerful than this. And I want to touch base on that in crystals again. So crystals, here again, mediums are tools, right? So, but what happens? The tool that we're using here, we're kind of putting an energy into the tool, right? Like the argument is the crystal itself is emitting like let's do something that I know what it means. So amethyst is for protected, right? Amethyst is protecting me. Here's my thought, guys. Hear me out. This tool, is this tool protecting me? Or is my energy I'm putting into this tool helping protect me? That is my debate about crystals. I love crystals. I think they are awesome. They do have good energy and have healing properties. But at the same time, this is my favorite squishy. This squishy makes me happy. Does the squishy make me happy because the squishy's making me happy or because I feel like the squishy makes me happy? That was the debate I was trying to discuss in my show a couple weeks ago. Like, there's still a huge part of me. Like, I've played around with the idea about crystals and their legitimacy. And I do think items are legitimate when it comes to energy because everything has energy, right? Everything has energy. This has energy. This has energy. But you said your intention, right? She gave you a whole rack of stones. And a part of me disputes it. I have a very logical side too at the same time, which makes mediumship really hard for me personally because I'm logical at the same time. It's like, I know that if I put energy into this, I know this is going to protect me because I just know it, right? Or do I know that because, like, it's just, okay, they have different frequencies, properties, and sure, but it's how we apply them. So, Jennifer, are you saying that, okay, because I'm glad you're mentioning frequencies because frequencies are huge, and they're important. Is the protectant from the stone coming from me or is it coming from the stone? It's kind of like one of those, what came first, chicken or egg thing? Like, so crystals is something I always want to talk about, but I always am so debating on how I feel about. I love crystals. They're beautiful. They do have good properties to them. But I'm like, is it me or is it them that's making it happen? And that could also be because of my psychology side of things where I'm like, I'm indifferent about it. So crystals can protect you depending how hard you throw. In that case, Brad, this crystal's going to protect me. Why? Because I'm going to throw it at your face. I love that. So that's something I was going to talk about, but I am still so torn on why the crystal has power. And this is one thing I love about my mind, because I will go left side with things. Like, I will think things further than they really need to be thought. Like, people can't just tell me, this is also why I'm self-taught. You cannot just tell me that this crystal's green and I'm going to say, yeah, it's green. You can't do that to me. I'm going to say, no, red. Or I'm going to say, well, why do you think it's green? You know, like, I'm going to question this. So that's how my mind thinks. So, you know, it's crazy, guys. Now, one thing I do know is if I really need protect from someone, I'll just throw a stone at them and make them run away. Good question. I love my crystals, but I feel it's a combination of both. Yeah, I think so too, Jennifer. We can't stick a crystal in our pocket and plan on winning $1 million because it's an abundance crystal. Jennifer. Okay, after the show, I'm going to buy a lottery, because if I hear the word lottery, like, again today, or like winning and stuff, like, I'm going to go buy a lottery, guys. Ticket after the show. Y'all, I'm serious. I've heard it like 10 times today. I gotta go get one. Okay. I love your thought process. Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't put it past you throwing it at me. Let's see. I need to sleep, hon. Okay, well, good. Go get some sleep. I appreciate you dropping in here. So, yeah, well, and I'm saying it right here live. I keep hearing lottery. I don't have to win $1 million to be happy. I would like to win something to, like, pay off debt or something, but I've been hearing it so much today that I'm like, I have to like 10 something, I think, to get a lotto ticket. I am seriously, if you guys find out like somebody in Indiana won the big one, it was probably me. Don't come find me, because I'm going to be smart with it if I win. All right. So the other thing, there's only a few things I want to touch base on, guys, because I actually have a guest, a friend coming tonight to visit for the weekend, because my son has a graduation party. My son is 18 and he's graduating, so I have a graduation party this weekend. So yes. I have a building I want to buy so bad, guys. I know where you live. You do. You and Brad both know where I live. So, all right. The last thing I want to talk about, guys. So I want to talk about inaccuracies and risk to being a reader, right? To being a reader, to being a medium, to all that. There are risks. There are lots of risks to being a medium. One is inaccuracies. You will have inaccuracies. Why? There's a lot of reasons why. One, is your mind clear? Are you really listening to the message, right? The job of a medium is not, in my opinion, the job of the medium is not to interpret it fully. The job of the medium is to channel it and deliver it, right? We're the medium. Spirit comes in, we tell it, right? Somebody's telling me about a blue car. All right, blue car. I'm reading to you, blue car. What does that mean? I'm hearing blue car. I'm seeing blue car. I don't know what it means. I'm not going to interpret it. I'm going to tell you, your grandfather wants to talk about a blue car. Okay? Then I can wait. I can wait to see if I'm going to get more information, right? Is grandfather going to tell me more information or not? He might not, But that blue car means something, right? So inaccuracies happen when we try to interpret. Is it raining? I think so. When we try to interpret ourselves, things that we don't need to interpret, right? That's where inaccuracies happen. 2, inaccuracies happen when you receive information prior to an investigation. All right. Go in blind. I cannot say that enough. If you're helping a family, if you're reading for somebody, go in as blind as possible, because here's what's going to happen. So, Susie's house had a murder in it. Uncle Bob was murdered, right? Susie's house had Uncle Bob murdered in it. I'm going to go in there. We're going to talk to Uncle Bob. Are we? Are we going to talk to Uncle Bob? Well, you want that information so, so bad, it can mess with your mind and mess with what you're thinking, you're feeling, seeing, hearing, whatever. Maybe it's not Uncle Bob. Maybe Uncle Bob got murdered and went on his merry way, right? Doesn't mean Uncle Bob's hanging out there. Maybe little Sally is there and deceased, and she's a neighborhood kid who drowned down by the lake, and she wants to talk. But you know that Uncle Bob died there. It's got to be Uncle Bob. There's no way this is little Sally. You're going to be inaccurate. You're going to be inaccurate. Yes, they do. They do. It makes it harder. It's so hard to read for you when you tell us information. The other thing is, when you tell us information, like, it makes me want to have the information for you, just like Uncle Bob. Like, I want to tell you the information. So it's going to mess with the reading. Going blind. One last thing that I feel about inaccuracies is the messages aren't always meant for you. Okay. You're prying and trying to get the information out of the spirit world, and you just can't get it. So you just blurt something out, right? If a message is meant for you, you will get that message. I guarantee you. The spirit world has a way to get to you. It will come in your dreams. It will come in your mind. It will, I shouldn't say it will, that sounds bad. Okay. It will, how do I say this? I was going to say it will present itself to you, but okay. You'll find out, right? If a message is meant for you, you'll know it. Okay, guys? I'm trying not to make that sound bad. But you will know it if the message is meant for you. And you can't force to get information out all the time. Like, sometimes you can persuade spirit to come forward with something, but you can't really force it to happen, right? So they are very, yes, they are very, very intelligent. Spirit, don't underestimate the spirit world. Do not underestimate the spirit world. So, and last thing is risk and liability. There is a huge liability with reading for people. So if you are new to mediumship, read for yourself or read for people you can trust, just to get started. If you can read for yourself. I'm terrible at reading for myself, by the way. If you can read for yourself. Read for people you know, people you trust. If you have friends in the paranormal world, most of them are like, yeah, I'll take a reading. They love it. They love free readings. If you get a hunch about something, you can kind of share that, because there is a huge liability in a misread of somebody or a situation, especially if you're not doing just mediumship readings, but you're also, I consider psychic readings different from mediumship. Mediumship to me is like talking to the deceased in spirit world. Psychic is like prediction, stuff like that, which I think I can do both personally. But if you're doing like psychic readings and you're telling somebody like a tragedy is going to happen, or you're telling somebody that, you want to warn them, but just really, really know that there is risk to giving out that information, just, like you think they're going to car wreck, just like, hey, just be really careful. Okay. I'm not feeling that great about it. It kind of makes me nervous for you. If you say, hey, you're going to die by getting T-boned later today or whatever, like, that's just, and they do or they don't. I mean, either way, it's kind of a liability and a risk. Or you could tell somebody to go off and date this guy because, oh yeah, that's totally going to work out. Like, he's such a great guy. Like, really know the risks, because you don't know. I mean, maybe 6 months down the road, he starts beating her. You don't know. Like, there's liability, and then it's going to be, oh, the psychic said you're great. And, and that damn psychic should have never told me that. I should have stuck around. Like, just be careful, be safe out there if you are reading for people. So, that's all I had for tonight's show. I know that's a ton of information, This show will actually be uploaded on YouTube along with all the other shows that I have are on YouTube too, where you can always go back and revisit them. I really enjoyed doing this show tonight. It's more informational. It's more in my world. Like I said, I love talking to spirit. I love doing what I do. It is my forte. I love it. And I'm never going to change it, guys. I'm going to be 80-year-old lady, like reading for people. Yes. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate it. So just so everybody knows, next week is the last show of season 4. Then we'll take a break like I normally do. Now, next week's show is just going to be chat and chill show. So feel free to jump in. We'll just chat and chill, talk spooky. I love talking spooky with people. Maybe share some stories, all that fun stuff, just for the finale. And then I'll let you guys know when I'll be back. All right. So with that said, everybody, thank you so much for jumping in here. I'm so happy I got to spend time with you all, and thank you all for your questions. I will see you at the next one. Bye.